what is it about Foley that makes him a great? Because Mick Foley is one of my favourite wrestlers of all time, and I'm sure for very different reasons to why he's one of yours. So I'm interested to see why you love Mick so much.
Well, I mean, like I say, I could have named you 100 people, but Mick Foley, you asked what for personal for me. I remember, I think when I was first getting into wrestling again as a young teenager, like so many people, reading his first book.
Yes.
And it was Mick's books are fantastic. Calling him Mick, like with me and him are best friends. Mr.
Right.
Mick Foley's Mankind's first book was fantastic. Just because it was almost, I mean, I think great authors, it feels like they're telling that story just to you. And I mean, I've gone back when I've been older and reread it, but I just his story as well, like kind of a normal man, but with very a normal bloke, but then this guy who then becomes these eccentric, not so normal characters and different variations of himself, and such a creative mind, and the passion he had for entertaining people and putting himself to the limits. Had so many. I mean, his promos and some of his, obviously he's known for a lot of the cell matches and the hardcore matches, but he could also really go just a different sort of old school but modernized style, and just clearly loved what he did. And from what I can see, he never stepped on anyone to get there. He was was true to himself, stayed humble, stayed true to Mick Foley, but then created these eccentric, amazing characters like Cactus Jack and Mankind, and smashed it out of the park every time he was there, and drew a lot of money, and definitely has a place in the wrestling Mount Rushmores.
I always think with Foley as well, one of the greatest things he ever did was the Mick Foley character, because obviously you've got these three very different branches of his personality. Mankind is not Cactus Jack, is not Dude Love, but then Mick Foley as a wrestler and as a character is the sum of these three parts, and I think it added a very, very interesting layer to what could have been quite a dull persona.
Well, I think he even goes on record and says like his favorite character was the Mick Foley commissioner, and which was him. And I mean, that was such a great run, such a great authority figure. And sometimes good guy authority figures don't have a lot to do, whereas he was just every segment just that he was involved in, so entertaining. So many, and these are memories that 20 years old now, which is scary to say, but they still stand true.
And I think you made the point perfectly when you said about his book. Like, he's a natural storyteller. You get some people in the world that can you hang on their every word. And I think he is one of them, whether it's in writing or through his art as a professional wrestler.
Definitely. And also you can see as a human being the work he's done for charity and stuff like that. You can see like he really, he goes the extra mile in everything he does.